I want you to think of an experience in your life that you felt good about yourself, something that you achieved, something that you didn't think would work and worked, or a holiday that was problematic in your mind turned out to be all right, and everyone sort of managed to enjoy it, or you got a job that you didn't think you would be good enough for, and many examples in our lives. That's how I want you to feel if I be lucky enough to help you to deal with your issues, to feel once we finish, when we end our work, maybe at this stage, because it's like layers of onions, the kind of work we do. You always find there's always something, as I have, in many years of therapy, that I've enjoyed, really. Self-discovery is wonderful. It makes sense. Think of yourself and how you operate, and that is the goal I have for my clients. And the cherry on the top is for me to help themselves to change their own relationship with that self, who is, by the way, in my opinion, the most important person in our lives is ourselves. We deal with trauma in this line of work at CTI. And trauma, it's a bit different than many of other psychological issues that we deal with. It could be short term, it could be long term, it could be one incident or one accident, or it could be developmental trauma. Or if you have blockage in our lives, something that, despite whatever we do not progress, that is maybe a result of something that happened to us a long time ago. My way of working is very diverse, it's very different than many people I've been lucky enough to know, my colleagues. I just mix things. I have been trained in various modalities, and even in one single session I may use several of them, whatever feels right. I am relational, interpersonal, experiential therapist, and one of the core conditions when I sort of embark on a new client, one of my requests and information piece is to let them know that I don't have any magic pills. Although I use a lot of vivid imagery in my line of work, but I am no magician. I cannot do it for them. I can help them to see things better, to be able to use their own resources, which they always have at their disposal, just learning to know how to best use it. I call myself a technician, a cleaner, to tidy up their internal world. Put things maybe from background to foreground or the other way around. Make the world look better, easier to navigate or just walk through or to deal with. Life has many complications. The less we have internal blockages, maybe it makes it easier. One of the best quotes I've ever heard in this line of work is from Ezra Klein when he interviewed Basil van der Kolk for New York Times. And he says, body keeps the score and mind tries to hide it. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? That's why we develop all these strategies and, ways of dealing with it, controlling and being in charge, being perfectionist, or just being depressed or sad, or get into argument all the time, or have relational problems, many, 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 many side effects that we do not think is result of that kind of thing that happened a long time ago. Trauma is loss of connection, very often with self, and a healing connection. As a therapist, my first job, my first task, my first duty is to help my clients to feel safe. I want them to feel safe and be safe, because that is the prerequisite for any possible change. Sort of loosening the strategies of survival that they have developed, that we have developed throughout our lives. And my hope for my client is to be kinder to themselves, be more compassionate to themselves. We all have a fantastic critical voice as clients or as therapists, as human beings. What I'm hoping is that, as I have, for people to develop an effective protector, someone who, with kind eye, see the situation and makes it tolerable for them to think, tolerable enough for them to think, so they can find the right strategy. I don't believe in a blank canvas for a therapist, because my clients, as all our clients, share the utmost fears, intimate details of their lives. So how can I be completely, blank? No. What do you want to know? This and that. No. As plainly, as briefly as possible, and as relevantly, I will reply. Today, I'm sure my supervisor would not be very happy to hear that, but that's me. All of me. I genuinely care for my clients. It's that caring and connection that may enable us to reach some safety, that then allows us to begin the proper work. Relational repair with your internal system, with your external world, with people in your lives. Why do they need to be the way you want them to be, if you want them to accept you as you are? I help clients to find a new, healthy, secure attachment with themselves. We're parenting themselves. I do inner child work. I do serious attachment work, history. I find out what are the blockages, when did this happen, and I help them see that. So when they tell me a story about how it happened this week or last week, I ask them, where did you learn that? Who did you learn that from? How did it help? Just genuine, compassionately caring, and at all times being curious, without any judgment at all. I just really am interested. I want to know. And I want to help them to become curious and interested. Why do they do this? Why don't they do it with this other person? What's the difference? And they begin to see. It's a beautiful moment when they come and they tell you, oh, you know, Syma, this happened or that happened. And that's the beginning of the end of our work. They have developed self-awareness, mindfulness, compassion for themselves. They feel not perfect. They feel good enough, and that's okay. Nobody's perfect. They realize this, and this is absolutely beautiful. It's a moment of celebration. So, and what mind forgets, body remembers. We are the most important person in our lives, and that we often forget because we have to live with ourselves all the time. So that relationship with ourselves is the most important and crucial to anyone and everyone. That's why that is my goal, to help clients to develop a better caring, kind, understanding, and more forgiving relationship with themselves. And a word for my colleague as well. When I first started to becoming a therapist, one of the most important and crucial books that I read was by Irving Yalom. And in one of them, God bless his soul, says, learn your theories, but leave them behind the door, because the moment you enter that door, it's all about relationships. And that I really believe. With some it works, with some it's good enough, and with some it doesn't. And that's okay too. Thank you for listening to me, and all the very best to whatever you do.